very much. Welcome, my dear professors, my colleagues. Welcome, everyone. So today I will speak about social security for non-standard workers, but mainly I will focus on platform work, and I will also focus on the situation in Romania and Hungary. And the main question of this presentation will be that do we need to recalibrate the whole social security system for these platform workers? Do we need to make amendments, or we need to create something brand new for them? So starting in the beginning, the rise of non-standard workers. If we are focusing on platform workers, first of all, we need to understand what that means. Platform work is the matching of demand and supply of paid work through an online platform using algorithms. There are three parties involved in this. They are matching on the platform itself, namely the client who is demanding the work. There is the platform which manages the algorithm which is matching the supply and demand. And there is the person who provides the work, who provides the services in need. Non-standard forms of work, particularly platform work, is currently reshaping the traditional and standard type of work, not just in Romania and Hungary. It is worldwide at this moment. It is challenging existing legal frameworks of labor and social security systems. The flexibility, as we already heard today, and the autonomy that attract workers to platforms are accompanied by precarious work. That is exactly the reason why we need to include them somehow under the social security schemes. As I said, the presentation aims to analyze the social security schemes and also to see the challenges posed by platform work in the EU with a specific focus on Romania and Hungary. And it will also explore whether this recalibration of social security is possible or not in the current systems. So the nature of platform work. Platform work, a subset of non-standard work, refers to labor arrangements mediated by digital platforms. Examples include, in many sectors, there is the transportation sector, such as Uber, there is the food delivery sector, but there is also freelance sector, which is a broader sector. Unlike traditional employment, platform workers often operate under a combination of independent contractor status, flexibility in working hours, and a lack of formal employment contract as such. In the EU, platform work is categorized as a form of non-standard work with no unified status under labor law itself. This ambiguity has left platform workers in many cases outside the protective scope of traditional social security schemes, which are typically designed for standard workers, who are full-time employed and permanent and having permanent employment status. So the EU legal framework, as we can see, there are numerous. As one selected, the regulation on the coordination of social security systems, which ensures that individuals moving within the EU retain social security coverage. However, this regulation was not designed with specific to non-standard workers in mind, especially thinking about platform workers, leaving some gaps in protection for platform workers. There is also one directive, the new directive on platform workers, which was initiated in 2021 by the European Commission, which aims to clarify the employment status across EU. It has more of a labor law approach for this problem. It does addresses algorithmic management as well. But now that we are talking about social security, the last text that was agreed of the directive simply leaves social security matters totally outside of the scope of the directive. And in its Article 5, it mentions expressis verbis that social security matters are just simply outside of the scope of the directive. Is the same in the tax matters and criminal matters as well. So our main problem arrived. The directive aims to solve many labor law questions, but social security is still not solved by the directive itself. Let's see the national context just a bit, really shortly. The Romanian context, we can see that platform work is expanding, especially after the pandemic, after 2020. The gig economy has expanded rapidly, but the country's social security framework, regulated primarily by the law on social security, remains geared towards standard employment and standard employment contracts, since a traditional type of employment is still dominating the legal regulations. Platform workers in Romania often register as self-employed or individual contractors, which allows them to pay contributions to social insurance schemes voluntarily. Yet, the voluntary nature of these contributions leads to significant gaps in coverage, particularly if we are thinking, as Sarah already mentioned, we are thinking about pension, unemployment, or healthcare as such. So Romania's recent efforts to align its labor law with these upcoming EU directives, it's still in process, and we are still in the process to accommodate the implementation of the new directive. The Hungarian context, it is pretty similar to the Romanian. Platform work operates in a similar ambiguous legal environment. Hungary's social security law, the Act on Social Security Contributions, does not specifically address platform workers as such, leaving them without full access to social protection schemes. Unless they opt for self-employment status, then they can opt for contributing to the system in such way, enjoying the social security benefits as such. Here at the Hungarian case, we need to stop for a moment for the last Curia's decision, which was in last December. It is a really interesting case. Without going into much details, the question appeared before in front of the highest judicial body in Hungary: are the platform workers employed people in the end or not? The Curia resolved the situation in a really interesting way. First of all, they didn't generalize their decision. They said that it's an individual case and it should be decided individually in any case. This case in particular was about a food delivery worker, as it was. Back then in December, the directive the text of the directive was a bit different than now. There is a legal presumption of employment there, and in December there were 5 criteria that out of which, if 3 was fulfilled, then we were able to activate this rebuttable legal presumption. The Curia decided, although it was just a proposal, decided to just go through the 5 criteria. The interesting part was that they went through these whole 5 criteria through the prism of the Hungarian labor code, meaning that the definitions of the statements in the criteria were used from the Hungarian national labor code, as it was. When the Curia went through these criteria, it showed that based on the national definitions of these criteria, none of the criteria were present. Therefore, among many reasons, not just these 5 criteria, the decision in the end was that this particular platform worker in food delivery sector is not an employee in the end. So, about the recalibration, or do we need a new paradigm of the social security to be able to solve this whole situation? So the rise of platform work poses a fundamental question in the end for us. Should social security system be recalibrated to accommodate non-standard forms of work, or can already existing frameworks be adapted to fit this new reality that we are living in? So there were several proposals that was put forward in the EU and among scholars as well. Just mentioning a few of them, there is the universal social security coverage, for example. One suggestion can be to extend social security to all workers, regardless of their employment status. This could involve removing the distinctions between employees and independent contractors for the purpose of social insurance, ensuring that all workers are covered by basic protection like health insurance, pension, etc. But, and there is a but, it is really difficult to reach this, to achieve this universal social security coverage because of the diverse employment types, financial sustainability, because in the end, this whole social security system needs to be sustainable as well. But there are differing national policies and the challenges of accommodating both traditional and non-standard workers, particularly in countries with limited administrative and economic capabilities. There is also another possibility that came up among the scholars. There is the probability of social security, portability of social security rights. What does this mean? Given the transient nature of platform work itself, so this solution may concentrate on platform work particularly, especially for those who work across multiple platforms in countries, which is pretty general nowadays, there is a growing argument for the probability of social security rights. This would ensure that workers retain their social security entitlements even when they are switching between these platforms or employment statuses. But, and is again there a but, achieving portability of social security rights is really challenging due to the various national social security systems, but also due to the various sectors of platform work. Differing contribution structures and the administrative complexity of tracking entitlements across multiple platforms and countries as well. There is also another argument. There was the idea of a new form of contribution mechanism. This was maybe the simplest one, creating something brand new from zero that could accommodate platform workers as such. A recalibrated social security system could introduce new contribution mechanism for platform works, such as automatic deduction from platform earnings, shared contributions between platforms and the workers, or even state subsidies to ensure universal coverages as well. There should be also a but as well. Unfortunately, we need to create something from zero, which is problematic due to numerous reasons. For example, if we are creating such a new systems, we will concentrate on platform work as such, leaving out of the scope anything else that is non-standard work. So it will not be a universal solution that can be used widely. Also, there is another problem. We need to fit somehow this whole new contribution in such way that it can fit also tax regulations, civil regulations, labor regulations, and it also should fit the already existing social security schemes. Going forward, there are also challenges and risks about the already mentioned ideas. So, first of all, there is a classification of employment status. Last year's panel, this was the main aim of the discussion. It was one of the most contentious issue is the classification of platform workers as either employees or self-employed people. The EU directive aims to resolve this, but national resistance, particularly from countries with strong platform economies, still remains. There is also an administrative concern, administrative and financial burden. So extending social security coverage to platform workers may impose significant administrative and financial burdens on national social security systems, particularly in countries like Romania and Hungary, which already face challenges in sustaining their pension system, for example. There is also a political and legislative resistance as well. There is a resistance from platform companies and some political actors, especially in Central and Eastern European countries, that can slow down the progress towards a meaningful reform that can happen. And already at the conclusions, so the question still remains, are we toward the new social security paradigm or not in the end? Platform work represents a growing segment, as we saw, of the European labor market, particularly in Central and Eastern European countries. However, the social security systems in these countries and the broader EU framework are still focusing on the standard type of employment. Recalibrating social security to include platform workers is essential to prevent social exclusion and to ensure that all workers, regardless of their employment status or self-employed status, enjoy the same level of protection in the end. The directive on platform workers provides a foundation to this reform that we are speaking about, but national level implementation will be the key factor here. Romania and Hungary, still focusing on the standard type of employment, must find a balance between protecting platform workers and managing the financial sustainability of these social security systems. In conclusion, the recalibration of social security is not just about reforming legal frameworks. It is about redefining the social contract between the state, workers, and employers in an increasingly digitalized and flexible labor market, with special attention to regulate the present sector according to the country's individual social, economic, and cultural needs, and in the same time to regulate the present issue according to the new directive on platform work as well. So thank you very much for your attention.